All right. Good evening, everyone, and thank you for coming to our meeting. I'd like to call to order the Whittingham Homeowners Association uh, um, joint board meeting for Tuesday, October 29th, 2024. Would you all please rise for a pledge of allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, for all. All right, let's go to item three. Matt, can I have a roll call, please?
Sure. Can everybody hear me okay? All right. Tom Clark,
Here.
Jay Ressler,
Yeah.
Bob Brown,
Here.
Kathy Dodano, Joe Atanasio,
Here.
Kathy Gleason, and Jeff Simonson. And let's go to the Greenbriar board. Mark Sirks, are you in the house?
I am present.
Alan Greenberg,
In the house.
Jack Sandler,
Yo.
Wayne, you here?
Here.
And Chester, good to see you. You here?
Yes, here.
Thanks.
Okay. Matt, do you have a management report for us?
Absolutely. We're going to kind of reiterate a couple of things we talked about last week going on over in WOA. Big thing are the roofs in Whittingham. We have buildings 47, 48, 53, and 55 Winthrop are done. They're currently working on number 57 right now. And next week they're jumping over to 71 Winthrop. So making some good progress. Without the rain, we're making a lot of headway. So even though we need the rain, it's good for doing roofs. We talked about this. Everybody go grab some ice when you're done since we got the new ice machine. A lot of paving and stuff going on last week, not only in Greenbriar, but we took care of the Newcastle gate and repaved that. And Jose got the safety loops in for the gates and everything. So that looks much better. Over in Whittingham, we got some crack filling on the streets going on this week as well. They did not finish today, but they'll be back on Thursday to finish everything up. And we got another thing, a solar diffuser, which most people probably don't know. It works some of our aerators. We're replacing one over on Chichester. Probably going to take about another 3 weeks to come in. Did I miss anything?
I don't think so.
Yeah.
I would just like to add one point. I'd like to thank Jose for the outstanding work he did. He spent a lot of time on that gate, getting it up and running. Was out there one afternoon when they were soaring the sensors into the ground, and so far it seems to be working very good. So I'd like to thank him publicly for that.
And we also forgot to add that there's some nice new curtains behind you guys.
Yes, there are. Hopefully, you'll come to the show in a couple of weeks and you'll get to see them. All right. Kristen, do you have a recreation report?
Yes. So we had our parking lot yard sale this past Sunday and it was a success. So watch for information because there'll be another one in the springtime. On Saturday, November 2nd at 7 p.m., we have our drag queen show in the ballroom. Tickets are available and they're $25 each. Our next trip to Atlantic City is November 6th. There are still seats available and those are also $25 each. November 24th at 3 p.m. in the ballroom, we have the One Hit Wanderers, who have an impressive lineup of your favorite hits from the 60s, 70s, and 80s. The purchase of tickets did step up, so if you're wanting to go, make sure you purchase your tickets. They're $25 each. Our New Year's Eve party goes on sale beginning this Friday, November 1st. The tickets are $75 per person, and you can see the flyer with all the details. That's it.
Thank you. I'd like to go on to the next item, item 6, the resolution of appreciation for Surjit Sandhu. Matt, may I have a roll call on that?
Sure. Tom Clark,
Yes.
Jay Ressler, Bob Brown, Kathy Dodano, Joe Atanasio,
Yes.
Kathy Gleason,
Yes.
and Jeff Simonson.
Yes.
Okay. Sujit, why don't you come on down and join me over here by the podium? Again, this is a resolution of appreciation for Surjit S. Sandhu. Whereas the current Board of Directors for Whittingham Homeowners Association desires to adopt this resolution of appreciation to thank former board member Surjit S. Sandhu for his time, dedication, and contributions to our community. And whereas Surjit S. Sandhu, 50 years of experience in electrical engineering, working in the elevator industry, helped give valuable insight to tackle some of the issues that affected our community. And whereas Surjit Sandhu services on the Restaurant Review Committee in Phase 1 and 2 of the Whittingham re-roofing projects helped enhance and improve our community. Now, therefore, be it resolved that the WOA Board wants to express gratitude and publicly thank Surjit Sandhu for his time and energy and for helping to make Greenbriar Whittingham a sustainable community and a community-oriented organization. Be it further resolved to have the resolution of appreciation spread across the minutes at the WOA Board meeting of October 29th, 2024. Surjit, congratulations and thank you.
Thank you, Tom, and I want to thank the board. I just want to say a couple of words to all my good friends and neighbors. I moved here 3 years ago. I know there are so many other people who have done a lot more than I could have done in my short period on the board. So I really want to share this kind of appreciation with all those previous people who made this place what it is today. We are one of the premier communities in this area, and that was the reason I moved here. And I'm going to do everything as long as I have the energy to do it, to make it even better. And that was my goal. And I'm sure some of my friends uh, did acknowledge that. And thanks again for the appreciation.
For the record, I do want to acknowledge and let everyone know that the resolution of appreciation was also offered to former board member Karen Schoenberg. She declined the offer. So we thank her for her service. Okay, it's all yours, Mark.
Make a motion, we approve the minutes of the August 29th, 2024 joint open meeting. Roll call? Oh, second the motion. Roll call?
Okay, Mark Sirks,
Yes.
Alan Greenberg,
Yes.
Jack Sandler, Wayne Baruch, Chester Trubinsky. Thanks.
Moving on. I just want to thank Michael Boxer for being brave enough to be sitting in the front row. You guys are all stuck in grade school, Michael Boxer. Very good. Okay, we completed our road paving project. Jack Sandler's going to talk about that. Jack has been the road paving guru
for as long as I've been on this board, he knows tar better than
Oh, yeah,
anybody.
yeah.
So,
I
go ahead,
thank,
Jack.
thank you, Mark. Okay, so this was the 10th year of our paving project. It started, I've been on the board, this is my 11th year on the board, and we started this in 2015, 9 years ago this month. So this is just the beginning of the 10th year. And we were brand new at the idea of how do you go about a paving project. We were very fortunate that we had an engineering company that we were working with who gave us guidelines and how to work and start on this whole thing. We interviewed paving companies. What did I know about milling or paving? Nothing. And so we did the first year and two, and we used the company, and they did an okay job. You know, it was okay. And then we realized that maybe we could look around and get another company. So we got more bids, more ideas, and that third year of the project, we came across a company called Johnson and Barron, and since we used them that year, they have quoted every year. We believe in multiple quotes, multiple estimates, but they've always done a very, very good job. Our engineering company has helped us select the streets that are most in need, the priority, and not only in priority and need, but that also fit into our budget. So over the past 10 years, including the first 2 years, we have spent approximately $2 million in paving projects for this community. We started off with extremely large reserve, and we still do have a significant reserve, but just as a piece of information for the future, and by the way, we're just so happy with the way the last project came out as well. So just be aware that now we have to plan for the next paving project, which will start in about 10 to 12 years. So we don't want to not start saving. We want to start saving because no one wants to be hit with an assessment when it's time for multiple paving projects. So in your next assessment for the starting 2025, will be a very modest increase for a part of the increase will be a modest amount to start building our reserves for the next 10 to 12 years. And as long as we do that, we'll be ready for that time. I will not be doing the paving project in 10 to 12 years. So, we are very thankful. I want to thank Matt and Susie. When you do the milling of the streets, people have to be careful. We have to make sure we send out the right circulars, the right flyers. The paving company works with us. They had this most recent company had golf cart available if we needed it. So we are very thankful for Matt and Susie and their efforts in helping this work out right. This year, Matt, I don't think we had any people who went over the paving an hour after it was done. Did we? Are we okay?
We're okay.
Okay, good. Okay. So we are thankful, and all the residents who had called all those 10 years, when's my street being done, it was done. So thank you all for being your patience, and see you in 10 to 12 years. Okay.
And Jack, the ongoing crack repair, that continues.
That will always, there's always new
Every
cracks.
year.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah.
Right. There's always new cracks. The road expands, the road contracts, new fissures develop. So we're always going to do repair work, but the streets were of such a nature that they hadn't been done in a long, long time, and we are glad we finished this project.
Chester is going to talk about the berm remediation. The berm that is behind some of the homes on Birmingham that backs up to where the Shell station is needed to be attended to, and that's what he's going to be talking about.
The good news is work on the berm has been completed. Basically, we installed additional arborvitae to fill the gaps that were left in the original design. We installed 40, I don't have the exact count, but it's like, okay, so 40, 51, 49. 49 arborvitae were added to the berm to block the view of the street and some of the noise that originates there. No matter what is installed on the berm, it's going to take 2, 3, 4 years to really fill in. Come back in a couple of years, and those shrubs and plants will be touching one another. and you will have a green wall there. So it's unfortunate starting out that the plan was to provide a very decorative berm, meaning a mixture of flowering shrubs, greenery, and so forth. What you see at some of the newer communities around here. When we did that, it left huge gaps, and it would have been probably a good 5 years before everything grew in. Obviously, that was not suitable given the very busy corner that we started on. So we added additional plantings, and then later on, we brought in a second landscape company, and we completed the job with the 49 additional arborvitae. As you're aware, we've had a very, very dry October, which is making it tough to keep things alive. We've made arrangements to have a tank wagon come in and water the new plantings. So that's pretty much the end of the berm, and I can say with some confidence that I don't think we will remediate another section of the berm anytime soon, if ever. Thank you. Yes, Mark, Susie, thank you for your
Not
support
Mark,
on all
I'm-
this. Oh, Matt,
Yeah, not Mark.
Mark.
I hate that berm. And I don't even know what an arborvitae is, so don't, so keep me out of it.
Yeah,
Okay, so we're gonna have a roll call vote approving the contract we had with Down to Earth to do the berm remediation. We take a roll call vote?
Mark Zerks,
Yes?
Alan Greenberg.
Yes.
Jack Sandler, Wayne Baruch, and Chester Trubinsky.
Consolidation update. Before I talk about the consolidation, I just want to take a moment to talk about something else. In part because the gentleman who spoke to me yesterday, I don't see in the room today. He may be up on Zoom, but it's an issue that's on my mind to discuss anyhow today, which is this. I have been approached by two residents of our community with issues that they had with regard to contacts that they received from management, letters and or emails. I don't remember which it was. And the two individuals both had a similar complaint about it. And the two individuals also similarly were somewhat nasty to management. In this case, it was Susie. I don't know if Matt hasn't had his opportunity yet. But let me say this. The management, like in a corporation, management takes its direction from the board of directors. And that's pretty much what happens here. If you get a letter from Susie saying, I'm notifying you that something's wrong, something is inappropriate, something's out of whack, something doesn't meet our requirements, whatever. Understand that Susie is speaking because somebody on the board said, please, Susie, notify the resident of this event. Invariably, if that resident is so inclined, Susie and or Matt ends up getting the blowback, the anger, the ire, and it's misplaced. The blowback, we're entitled to take it here, and we're happy to talk to you. But generally speaking, if a member of management points something out to you, there's a very good chance it was at the request of a board member. And so we ask that you take the matter in stride. In both cases, these were relatively minor points. But what happens is someone opens up a letter and it's almost like, how dare they? What are they bothering me? This is wrong. They shouldn't be. I shouldn't be hearing this, and they end up getting the steam in their direction. In a couple of instances, these have to do with determinations that there's some violation, let's say, and a violation may be a stronger word than it is. It's something that doesn't meet the specifications and requirements. We do, as a board, put a lot of energy and effort and enthusiasm in ensuring that our community is kept looking the way it's looking now and nothing unusual takes place. We all remember the yellow door appeared one day. We had to address that. And a few weeks later, yellow shutters appeared. And the door, and this is what happened. You're right, the door's still there. Why is the door still there? Because it can only be deemed our fault that the door was yellow because we had failed to put into place uh, requirements for door colors. We just didn't do it. It never came up before. Once the yellow door showed up, we said to the homeowner, look, you're grandfathered in, your yellow door, but don't do anything further. When that person did, you had to change it. Fair enough. I think that's fair and reasonable. In the case of one of these individuals, we discovered that their screen door was not compliant with our requirements. These screen doors are part of the facade that the community is trying to project. And so we look for a certain appearance of the screen doors, and we get to set the standards here. In this case, this gentleman's screen door was non-compliant. We asked Susie to let him know. He was very angry with Susie for what ultimately turned out to be a determination that he bought the house with that screen door. And we also have a policy, look, if you bought the house and something is wrong, unless it's really egregious, we're not going to force you to change it. We're not here to go and police the mismanagement of previous boards decades ago. We're interested in doing things right today, but we're not going to force you to make changes for some board, unless I say it's really egregious. In this case, it turned out we discovered subsequently that his screen door was put in by a previous homeowner. And we sent him a letter saying, sorry to have bothered you. We just discovered it wasn't your screen door, that you bought the house with it, and we're not going to force the issue. But we did add, but please be nice to the community, the management people. They're not here. They're not our whipping boys. We went through this a good number of years ago, and at some point it started to calm down because Jamie was kind of no nonsense about that stuff. She'd smack you down, and it's starting to surface again. We got to put a period to it. These folks are not here to be at your disposal for whatever you feel transgression is against you. So I hope the gentleman who I spoke to last night, I told him to bring the question up to the microphone, but I don't see him here. So this is why I thought I'd jump in and address it now. And I promised him I would address it. So now we're going to move on to what I'm supposed to be talking about, which is consolidation. So, no. What's the word? Consolidation. Yeah. Consolidation. I'm having trouble with it too. Jack is the style book on that. Okay, so we met, ironically, coincidentally, the merger committee, which has been. There we go. The consolidation committee met met this morning, and the committee is it's all of us, the two boards. Most of us met this morning. That thing went down the wrong way. I got to stop bringing vodka. To lay out the game plan for the rollout of this program. And what we decided so we decided that given the time of year that we're in now, we're going to have the vote in early spring. The vote being the vote to decide yay or nay, are we going to move forward with it? Between January and May, when the vote will take place, we're going to begin to have education sessions here in the ballroom and on Zoom. People will be able to watch it from Florida. We'll come in. We're going to have some during the day, some during the evening. There'll be a presentation. We have a slide show that should answer most of the questions. And then there'll be a Q&A.
So the people, the 12, well, the people who were there this morning and the 10 people all are in agreement with the layout of the project, of how we're going to work out the consolidation, the advantages of what we're going to do. I'm going to try to teach people, answer every single question that people have. People have different opinions of what's good, what's not good, and we've gone through this over the last few years of what's good for the community, and we were all, by the way, in agreement with it as well. So in starting in January, there'll be a day session, evening session, 1 week, 2 weeks, and then sometime in April, there'll be articles in the newspaper, there'll be flyers, there'll be block captains calling people, and then in sometime in April, we'll mail out ballots that will be due back mid to late May. And okay, so now these are the choices. One choice on the ballot, yes or no, as far as going ahead with the consolidation. We are hoping, and we do have to get a very high number of people to vote, a very, very high number. And we're going to be asking Matt and Susie to, contact people. We're going to contact people. And we want to explain and we want to allay anybody's fears about joining the two boards into one consolidated governing body. And so we're looking forward to it. Now, so if the vote passes between May and August, there will be 12 people, 5 from the Greenbriar board, 7 from the WOA board, sitting together, working out all the details, planning for an election in September for a new 9-member governing body. The corporate underpinnings of each group does not change. So the Greenbriar board files tax returns based on the monies that we take in or the monies that we have. We need a separate corporate structure for that. The Whittingham condos need a separate corporate structure. The WOA common elements needs a separate corporate structure. Those corporate structures will stay intact. We are not merging them. So we never want to use the word merger because we're not merging the corporations. What we are doing is we're taking people from both groups and we're combining into a more manageable 9-member board, which will be a blessing for management. They won't have to attend 2 sets of meetings often, or deal with 2 sets of residents who are confused about which board to bring a question to. And so by having a more manageable situation, one board of 9 people, we are hoping that will simplify and make life easier for everyone on the board. There's not always an abundance of people who want to run for the board. We just find that it's very hard to get people. So a 9-member board will be a little bit more manageable. So we're hoping that everybody here in the audience, everybody at home will understand that we're trying to do this for the benefit of the community. We're hopeful that this will work. If it doesn't pass, and I hate to bring that thought up, then you'll have the continuation of the 2-board system starting in September again. But our attorneys have informed us that we can bring it back at another time with a lower threshold, with a lower quorum necessary. So we're hoping that we don't have to go through that whole process again, but we are hopeful that this will take place. Thank you. You finished choking?
Yeah.
Okay, good.
I couldn't have said it better myself, Jeff. Okay. Oh, okay. Yeah, it's all yours.
Move on to item number 8, that's the WOA business. We have approval of the August 29th, 2024 joint open meeting minutes. And, we have the approval of the August 19th, 2024 WOA special open meeting minutes and approval of the August 26th, 2024 WOA Special Open Meeting Minutes. We could take it all as a block, but only the people who were present for those meetings should be placing a vote. Okay, so Matt, so that means it's basically myself, Jay, Bob Brown, Kathy Donano, and Joe Antonasio.
Correct, yeah.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, can you make a motion, please?
Second.
Okay. Second by Joe. Okay. All right, go ahead, Matt.
All right, Tom Clark,
Yes.
Jay Wrestler, Bob Brown, Kathy Dodano, Joe Atanasio.
Yes.
Okay. Back to you.
Well, homeowner associations all over America are in what's called budget season. That means numbers are crunching, financial people are scratching their heads, and they're trying to figure out how we've done compared to what we budgeted in the past and what we will need to budget for next year. That process has already begun. This year we have the involvement of the folks at First Services in support of that. But at this point in time, it's mostly our own budget manager, our own budget committees working towards that goal. And I think we have a budget committee coming up very shortly. And Kathy Dodano has been working on, she works on both budget committees, WOA and Greenbriar, and for which we are eternally grateful because she handles a mass of information and digests it and spits it out in a way that's very easy for us to get our arms around and understand. And she's also capable of highlighting what's really important, what we need to know about, and what's just a minor wrinkle here and there. So it's great that she's on both committees. And we actually talked about this morning going forward into after the consolidation. There still will be separate budget committees for WOA and Greenbriar, and WOA/Whittingham and Greenbriar. But as is the case now, there will be people who exist on both committees. And the reason for that is these are folks that bring a lifetime of financial talent to the table, understanding and interpreting financial documents and doing budgeting. So that will continue, and hopefully and presumably Kathy will also continue on both of those committees. So that's where we're at. And very shortly, you should start hearing the results of that, what the budget will be for next year and what our assessments will be for next year. So one other thing I wanted to talk about in this regard. We had a methodology for paying our monthly assessment, all of us, the whole community, under the Appfolio that was in place before First Services took over. And the vast majority of folks took advantage of the efficient, automated system of making their monthly payments to the community. Either that was automatic every month, they did nothing, which is what I did. I just got an email that said, we've taken care of it, we've taken care of it, we've taken care of it. Other people maybe had to initiate something with their bank, whatever. Now, Appfolio is gone. The folks that came in use a product called ClickPay. A lot of folks have signed up for ClickPay, myself included. Same thing as before. I don't think about making my payment every month. It's an automatic thing. It just ends up appearing on my bank statement that Whittingham Homeowners Association has taken $350 from my account on the 1st of the month or the 29th of the month, whatever date I set, and it's done. And that's the way we should all be doing this. Some form or fashion of automated, modern way of paying our bills. It turns out that since we left Appfolio and are now on this new system, a much greater percentage of residents are not taking advantage of the modern banking technology for auto paying their bills. Now, I'm very comfortable and very happy with ClickPay. I don't see any issue with it. Other people are apprehensive, but there are other mechanisms for paying your bills where you initiate it on your bank's website that says, okay, pay the Whittingham Homeowners Association such and such a dollar amount on such and such a date, and you put in there what your account number is. The money arrives magically wherever it has to go in our accounts, and it works well. There are a fair number of people, a higher percentage of people today are paying their bills in a fashion of we always used in the past. You write a check, you tear it out of your checkbook, you put it in an envelope, you lick it, stamp it, put it in the mailbox. A lot of people are doing it that way, and there's nothing wrong with that. And if your comfort level is such that that's all you will accept, that's fine. What we're going to end up doing at the end of December, anybody who is paying their bills by check is going to get an old school coupon book in the mail. And for all 12 months. And the onus will then be on that homeowner to make sure they tear out a coupon, write a check, put it in an envelope, and get it to our lockbox. Now, in order to do so, you're going to have to pay that bill by the 20th of the month because the post office is unknowing and the lockbox is in Florida, and that's the facts of life. We are not going to give people who are late, whatever the late policy is, how many days we allow and how many, whatever the charge is, will not be able to come back and say, but the post office did it, the post office. That's your responsibility to get it there on time. And so if you're going to use that mechanism, you're going to have to get your checks in the mail on time. And we're going to print that right on the coupons that you should, that what the late fee will be and so on. I encourage people to get switched over to one of these automated systems if your comfort level allows for it before December. What will not be happening after January 1 is statement mailing. Under this new procedure, we've been mailing statements to hundreds and hundreds of homeowners each month who are paying manually. And we've been mailing them a statement, and then they use that statement to make their payment next month and so on. That's got to end. It's costing us a small unbudgeted fortune for this, and it will be eliminated with a one-time cost for a coupon book. The coupon book will go in the mail to you, and after that, you're on your own to do what you want to do it. If you got the coupon book and 6 months in, you decide to switch to automated, you could do that and then just tear up the rest of the coupons and throw them away. So that's what's coming down for the way we're going to be paying our bills from now on. Okay, I'm done with that. Covenants Committee. Do we have anything going on in covenants? Anything happening in covenants? Nothing. Site review. Before you start with site review, let me ask you this question, Chester.
Yes.
Has the site review committee addressed and made any decisions vis-a-vis vinyl siding for the community? Address that. I know we've talked about it before, but
Okay, I
maybe.
could cover the whole subject quickly. Basically, a homeowner approached us some time back. They wanted to reside their house. This was sort of something I anticipated would happen, but probably not for another 10 years. Anyway, the homeowner made application, and we approved that application, which said we need to develop standards for what we will be doing in the future. Turned out the homeowner used the product which we were going to standardize on, and the homeowner picked white. So that was a very easy approval. Nevertheless, we are concerned that changes will come down and people will want to make other selections. So we've standardized on CertainTeed product. Doesn't mean you have to use CertainTeed, but we've standardized on thickness, on design, on exposure to the weather, relief, and so forth. And that will be spelled out in a policy, which will be on the website. And you can use whatever vendor you choose so long as the product supplied meets the color standards, the thickness, etc., the profile. Um, and That's about where we are. We're working on a policy. We did have a certainty representative in here. He left us with samples of the siding we will standardize on. Members of the committee have been out and about the community. There's probably a half a dozen different colors in the community, lots of beiges, whites. We have some pale yellow, we have some pale blue, light grays, etc. So what we're trying to do is match up what is currently available to what was put on the homes 25 years ago. And once we have those matchups as best we can, that will become part of the policy statement. These are the 6 or whatever number of colors they decide upon that will be available for people who want to reside their house in the future. By the way, residing your house is probably going to cost you, depending on the size of your house, $15,000 to $18,000 if you are interested in doing it. At least that's a preliminary estimate. So that's about where we stand, Mark. I would imagine that the committee will have the decision, if not this coming meeting, the one after, and then we can work towards a policy statement. Yes. It was, I know I'm familiar with it. We talked about it briefly. It was not really one of the things that we were considering. I'm not sure what, I'm not sure of the impact of insulating, meaning the thickness behind, whether it would considerably change the look of the house. The one issue we do have is with attached homes. We need to standardize on one type, style, etc. of siding, so that when homeowner, same with roofing, what we do is the first to pick the color, the second person lives with that color. Same thing with the siding here. We need to standardize so we don't have a mix or a match. Haven't really, I don't know if the committee they're aware of insulated siding. I don't know whether they're addressing it, quite honestly.
Chester, was that, am I mistaken? I have a vague recollection that when the Certainty rep was out here, wasn't he dissuading us from that product? He had it in his book and he said, this doesn't make sense for you or something? Or am I wrong?
I can't
There was something he was
recall
pointing us
that
away from.
discussion.
Okay. That could be wrong.
You have a-
Any other site
yeah,
review matters?
Yeah, actually, yes, you can get insulated siding. What is the R value going to be? It's an interesting question. What your contractor will probably want to do is to replace your house wrap, but also simultaneously add insulation, whether it's an 1/8 inch, 1/4 inch, or thicker, under the new siding that will meet the site review committee standards. That'll probably be a more economical, quick, and effective solution.
Any other site review issues?
Yeah, just a quick update. The committee met October 1st. 13 applications were submitted and reviewed. One application was initially rejected because the deck proposed extended onto an easement. I think it was a stormwater easement, and that cannot happen. So the homeowner redesigned his deck to meet to avoid the easement, and the application was approved. The committee also undertook 25 inspections of previous applications that had been completed. That's it.
Now that deck, the size of the deck comported with our requirements, but the township disallowed the deck because the deck would have extended over an easement for something that they have below ground that we could not cover up. And so that's what it was. It wasn't our decision. The township was there. So, okay, Alan, newcomers.
So the newcomers committee meets typically 3 to maybe 4 times per year. It's a welcoming committee for those who are newer into our community, whether they're owning or renting. The next newcomer committee is meeting November 11th. We'll have a session for, I don't know, a final number, somewhere around 30 or so new, either families, couples, singles, whatever it may be. And then we probably won't meet again until early in the spring. That's the update.
Let's go to the committee reports. We'll have a report for budget and finance.
Before I start on finance, I just want to ditto what Mark had said about our residents who are on ClickPay. The Whittingham community is also getting a charge every month from First Service for statements that are going out to those residents who are not on ClickPay. And let me just explain what had happened in the past was management had put everyone on Appfolio for those who opted out. So they had automatic payments. They didn't need a statement. For those who opted out and wanted to continue paying by check, and there's quite a few, they would receive a coupon book, just as we're proposing now. It's much simpler to avoid having the coupon book. And for those who are fearful, don't want to give their information out, please understand that that same information was given to Appfolio before. ClickPay is the same kind of an arrangement where your account information would be used, but it would be sort of protected by ClickPay, and ClickPay is a very large company. So I do urge people to go that route if you haven't already. But again, just as Mark said, for those individuals, we will be giving, for those who don't want to be on ClickPay, we will be giving them a coupon book starting in January. If you want to opt out of that and go on to ClickPay, please let us know. Contact management.
Matt, do you feel there's a lot of people who haven't gone on ClickPay because they just needed assistance doing it? It just felt to them easier to do it this way than to join ClickPay?
I'm not really sure if that's the case, Mark. I mean, I've personally helped hundreds of people get set up on ClickPay. It's actually very simple. I think a lot of the fear is that, you know, you're giving somebody else control to take money out of your account, and some people just don't like that. And I totally understand that and can't complain about it.
Yeah, I've been using PayPal for over 20 years, and it's not very much different than PayPal. Venmo is very popular. All these money programs are popular, and they work flawlessly. So, if it would help that we would run a Zoom session on how to sign up for ClickPay, maybe that would help. We got to get away from the expenditure of mailing stuff out and the time lost in getting paid back.
So I'm going to go on to budget and finance. The September results, we had already received August. We had met with our budget and finance committee. We are expecting September results tomorrow, and we will analyze those, put them in proper formats, reporting, so that we can then present to our budget and finance committee on Thursday, November 14th. At that point, we are preparing for the next budget, 2025. So analyzing our results through September, having September actuals. By the end of this month, we're looking to prepare a presentation for 2025 budget for the community. So we're working feverishly for the next 4 weeks to try to get something together, which will talk to the community about what to expect for 2025, and that will incorporate any adjustments that may be necessary for the capital reserve study. And that's it.
Do I have a report on covenants?
Has been no meeting.
Okay, thank you. Do I have a report for entertainment? Joe?
Kristen went over all the planned events, and we have quite a bit, and we have a lot of people coming out. It'd be nice to have more. Everyone on the committee is working very hard to bring good entertainment in, and they will continue to do that. And hopefully it meets all your expectations. Thank you.
All right, thank you for the report. Do I have a report for landscape?
Just one thing to report. I think everyone has seen that the mums are now being switched over to the pansies, which will stay in until spring. They get dormant in the winter time, and then in the spring, they will pop up. We also did agree to remove the rock in the center meridian of Prospect Plains. So center meridian, bottom level, there are red rocks. We had talked with the landscape committee and all agreed that it would give that particular entrance a little bit more color, a little more pop, and allow us to compete with Concordia. And so they will remove those rocks and they will plant pansies, and they will pop in the spring.
Righty, thank you. Do I have a report on the site review? Site review committee? Do I have a report?
There were 3 new applications, 8 inspections, no rejections. That's it.
Okay, thank you. Town Center Committee? I don't- all right, Jay, thank you.
Yeah, Reni's not here today, so she left me
No, okay.
a list of things they want
Okay.
done. On the bulletin board, a battery-operated light strip was purchased and placed in the bulletin board. And that board that they're talking about is the glass enclosed board outside the restaurant where it has permanent notices. Flyer racks, all translucent flyer holders have been installed in the area across from the restaurant. It's also out there. It's where you can see everything that's on the notices. There's a room in the basement that has available space for clubs that need storage space. So the committee did want to point this out to all the clubs. If you do need storage space, we do have some space now that Bistro has made the space available by moving out. Clubs can use that space. And the Town Center Committee would like a budget to purchase artwork for the front multipurpose room. And that's really for the board to look into if you want to put some money aside to get art for the front room over there. And that's all she had on the list.
Ready, thank you. So that'll move us on. Before we do, I did want to, it was my mistake, I didn't mention something earlier. I wanted to thank Kristen for her work on the garage sale. Obviously, that was a lot of work. So appreciate the work and effort put into that. And hopefully next year it'll be even bigger and better. Okay. Yes. Why don't you take care? All right.
I just want to mention that we have been working on updating our phone directory. The phone directory is on the portal. Everyone can access it. If you go onto the portal, lower left corner of the screen allows you to pull up the phone directory. There are roughly about 49 pages. It gives you some introductory information, general information about the community. And then there is a map. And then it gives you an alphabetical listing of all our homeowners. And it gives you a by address name. So it'll give the address street, the street in the community, and then by number, who the homeowners are for each of those, or who the residents are for each of those listings. So take a look, please, everyone, and let us know if there are any errors.
Ready? Thank you, Kathy.
I have one last thing. GW Friends is sponsoring once again a food drive. And you'll see out in the lobby, places where you can drop off food bags. We've done this for a few years now, and it's grown each year. Last year, we had a very good result out there. The bins will be here until sometime on Friday. We don't know when the guy's going to show up to pick up. He's like the cable guy. He doesn't tell you. So if you can get your stuff in there on Thursday, we've always had a real good showing. And it's a good time if you're a snowbird, get rid of your canned goods and your ketchup, and you'll get fresh ones next year. We don't want any matzah in there. Filippo, leave your matzah. We don't want matzah in there. So seriously, it's really worked out well. The organization that collects it is called Replenish. They used to be called MC Foods, Middlesex County Foods, and they service all the food banks in Middlesex County. So that's where we're at. Please take advantage of it.
Ready? Thank you for that. All right, let's move on to item 10. It's the open forum. Anyone who would like to come to the microphone and speak about any issue at all, please just state your name and address, and we'll be listening. You, oh, okay. She's already out.
Barbara Rackbuck, 10C Rutland. One, I want to thank you. The lights are all working. I worked with the gentleman yesterday. He didn't know where some of the places were, and so I walked with him, and we found them all, and they're all lit up tonight. Did we do anything about irrigation? Because I don't have any irrigation, but I don't know that they've been blown out, and that concerns me a lot.
Yeah, Barbara, Friday this week, they're winterizing the irrigation system
Thank you.
and you'll see all the heads going off in the air and the mist coming out. So it's all compressed air.
Good, then we won't
But
have
yeah.
any breakage. Thank you.
Yep. And thank you for helping the electrician identify the lights.
Cliff Durlacker, 7 Brighton Court. Kathy made reference to the reserve study that we're going to be having to budget for, but I'd like to know when the reserve study will be available to residents to look at.
Yeah, reserve study basically is in draft form. We're going to be having a meeting with the company Kipcon who prepared it. After the board has an opportunity to sit down and question Kipcon on the report, and then we make our formal report on it, we'll make it available.
Week, 2, do we know?
For our next budget, so probably within the next month.
Okay, thank you.
Susan Kaplan, 67 Dawson Lane. I just have a question. Is the golf board completely autonomous, or do we have a say in the look, for example, the look of the side of the pro shop going toward the pool, which is very unattractive, And the back where they have rocks, they never take care of the weeds that are coming through. And in some cases, I think at the end of the season, they sprayed it and let these dead things just poke out, and it looks terrible. I think they could do better. And I've also I left a message for Al Cooper about reseeding spots where they took out a big planting in back of my house that was there before when I bought the house, and it's just been a weed patch, and it's time to reseed. It's the fall. So what connection do we have, and what say do we have as to the looks of their upkeep?
I wonder if the exterior of the pro shop is blow up or the golf board. I don't know.
Yeah, it's a question I was just about to ask. I mean, I don't know if that falls under our maintenance agreement or not.
The seating would fall to Alan Cooper's committee. You'd have
Right.
to reach out to them, but this other thing is, I don't know.
Okay. I
Okay,
don't
well,
think we have a
somebody-
definitive answer for you on that, so
Okay.
we'll look into it and hopefully,
I think you will agree, though, that it could look a lot
I
better.
understand what you're
Yeah.
saying because I've noticed that
Okay,
myself.
Thank you.
Mark Lindell, 15 Trent Road. A friend of ours just stopped in. She's playing mahjong, so she asked me to ask this question. Last week we talked about the Comcast contract, and she was on the phone for more than a half an hour trying to get through to them. And as I said from the microphone last week, you cannot get through to customer service with them. They're awful. Then somebody else mentioned to me that our Assemblyman Wayne D'Angelo is not a friend of Comcast. So if we do want to force Comcast to bring representatives on site, he's the person to look at. Thank you.
Right, thank you.
D Rutland, Barbara Augusta. Problem in my back, by my kitchen, the backyard. When it rains, it fills up with water. So much water, it looks like a pool. And wintertime coming, it freezes up and you could slide all over the place. Can't walk out the door. So I was wondering if there is anyone that could take care of it and take a look at it. I've mentioned it before. This is going on 10 years. I'm here 11 years
How long, this has been an ongoing issue for 11 years?
and longer,
Okay.
from what I hear.
How long have you been living in?
11.
You're there 11
Yeah,
years. And it's been like that since you moved in?
Yeah, when it rains, it fills up.
Okay.
All
right.
It's like a sheet of ice.
We'll take a look at it. I mean, I don't know anything about it, to
Oh.
be quite honest. Matt, he's got it.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Matt.
Yeah, we have an executive meeting with the WOA board next week, and we already have one proposal to remediate that area, and we're working on trying to get at least another one or two before the meeting so we can take some action on it, hopefully.
Thank you so much, Matt.
No, thanks, Susie. She's the one getting the proposals.
Yes, Susie. Thank you very
right.
much.
Well, thank you, Matt. All right, yes.
Yeah, I have something, Tom. So we've been talking all this evening about aesthetics. Aesthetics are great. Aesthetics are really important to our community. I want to talk for a minute about life safety issues. What are these? These are things like fire code. These are things like slip, trip, and falls here in the clubhouse. A lot of it's been remediated, thanks to Matt, thanks to Susie, but it's taken a long, long time. Mark Sirk mentioned a bunch of financial professionals, and they're great. But what we also have is another 4 law enforcement professionals who live in the community, another 5 safety and risk management professionals, plus another insurance professional. So what does that mean? That means there are a lot of people who we can count on for issues pertaining to your safety, protecting risk, and reducing potential liability against our insurance policy. And if you may remember when Larry Rosen, when he was still serving, talked about the insurance premiums, they're getting high and they're getting higher. If something happens, a hit on that policy doesn't help us in our premiums. several of you have complained about drivers speeding on Harwood and Chichester, for example. And I brought up these issues to both boards, to my board, and nothing was done. The issues have gone into a black hole. Some will tell you nothing will happen. Well, they're wrong. I actually filed an OPRA request, Open Public Records Act request, with the police department, and I got all 64 incident reports from the police department, January 2018 through July 2023. Now, 44 of those incidents actually happened out on our roads. There were a whole bunch of them in our parking lot, and then a handful in somebody's driveway. What do we do with that? What we do with that is share that information so that we can figure out whether there's a trend, whether there's anything we can do better, whether we can prevent incidents. I think it was Franklin who said about it, an ounce of prevention versus a pound of cure. I've spoken with Sergeant Spence, Monroe Township Police Department. He can sit and meet with us and answer questions and help reduce risk for you, prevent something from happening, hopefully. Now, since we've let these issues go into a black hole, basically you're on your own. Most recently, I brought up an issue with a sight triangle. Now, this is what the New Jersey Department of Transportation refers to as our ability to see left and right at this or that intersection. I brought up to the Greenbriar board our rules. We actually have two of them, one pertaining to bushes and maintenance of bushes, one pertaining to traffic safety, to how we drive on our roads. I also brought up the New Jersey Department of Transportation sight triangle data and details and rules. Now, that law, those standards don't necessarily apply to us in a private community. However, human factors, reaction times, ability to see, speeds, they do. We can't make those standards, the information behind that table, go away. I'm not done yet. I'm almost done. Now, when my board said, you know what, non-issue, we're not dealing with it, I said, you know what, I'm going to sue. Now, I asked my wife, and she said, no, we're not spending our money. And while some would say, you know what, tough luck, I made a promise, and I'm not going to violate that promise. Now, here's what I can do. We can't stop something from happening. I hope nothing ever happens, nobody ever gets hurt. If something does, though, your insurance company, your attorney, have them call me. I will provide any information that I have to help you to get your rights protected, and the fact that we've been neglecting addressing these issues. I'm sorry. I've tried. I've done my best. You know, I was actually, because of the frustration that I'm feeling, I was actually thinking of resigning tonight, and it's real tempting. I'm a retired safety professional. This stuff gets in here and gets in here. We care. I do not want anybody in this community getting hurt, loss of property. If there's something that could be done, yeah, there is. This is damn frustrating, folks. I wish I could help you. I keep trying.
All right. Hold on. Well, this isn't part of the discussion. This is something on the Greenbriar board currently going on. Obviously, I'm going to defer it to the board to resolve the issue that was raised. If they want to address it tonight, I don't think so, because it wasn't on the agenda. I didn't know anything about the issue just being brought up. So, being said that, thank you for the comment. I'm going to move on with the meeting. Let's go over to the Zoom. Matt, do you have anything on Zoom?
Yeah, we got a couple of questions on here. We'll take a couple of the easy ones first, and I don't know the answer to it. Is the board going to approve a hard copy of the directory to be mailed out?
We are looking into various ways of getting a professional looking book rather than a mimeographed or a photocopied copy, and at very good prices. So we can't go into it right now, but we are looking into something that everybody will be happy with.
Jay, this may be another one for you because you mentioned new artwork. Jackie Rain from 6 Wilton said, with all the great artists in the community, why should we buy artwork? So you may want to reach out to Jackie. Um, Next one, we have quite a few questions about the Comcast agreement and some information that we had talked about getting out to people. A survey was mentioned, the channel lineup. So can we get a status on that is the question.
There's further discussions and some new discussions that broke out as a result of the meeting last week with the industry. So there's a lot of information we're waiting on. That's why we haven't reached out with the survey, because some new information has come to us on possible packages and ways to address it maybe in another way. So we're going to get that information, and once we receive that information, we'll make a decision on how we want to move forward with it.
Oh, we have on Zoom.
Well, I will then entertain a motion to adjourn.
Second, Tom.
Excuse
One
me?
second.
I moved by Jay, second by Joe.
Motion to adjourn?
Just before we get out of here, just remember one thing, that Tuesday is election day. And we're gonna have the polls open in here. Okay, please do not forget your sample ballot. It makes it easier for check-in. Okay? And secondly, just remember that any political sign, hat, shirt is considered electioneering and is not permitted within 100 feet of the polling place. The poll workers have been instructed, if someone walks in with any of that, you have to tell them to remove it, and you will not be able to check them in. I know it's tough, but this is the way it is. It's the law. It's not my rules. It's a statute in the state of New Jersey. Okay, thanks.